As you can see, this sidewalk is totally covered by snow and ice, and people could easily slip and fall when walking here. The supplemental budget bill we just mentioned also including funding for department to raise their minimum wage to $15 an hour if they choose. With about 5,500 employees, the Department of Mental Health still has more than 1,000 available positions to fill. Usually, 6 months after students graduate from here, they need to start to pay their federal student loans back. There are over 1,700 parking meters like this in downtown Columbia. The restaurant told me the cooking oil price went almost double during the last 6 months. The library board will make tomorrow, but anything related to the new union is not on the schedule. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke with abortion provider virtually today. Over the last decade, Catholic Charity of Central and Northern Missouri has resettled more than 80 Ukrainian refugees. This sidewalk is pretty clean and easy to walk. But when you turn this corner, as you can see, there are still some ice and snow cover this sidewalk. I saw lots of fancy cars today. Personally, I love this red Mustang. Easter is tomorrow, but many families in Columbia already got out to celebrate today. And I talked with a local realtor, a lender, and an economic professor today. They told me that the soaring mortgage rate did impact lots of buyers' decisions. But if it's still within your budget, now is the time to do it before things get even worse.
It's a stressful time for the buyers, the agents, the lenders. Everybody has to work together to help them find something.
This is what's going on in the housing market now. According to Freddie Mac, the 13-year fixed-rate mortgage hit 5% this week, the first time in over a decade.
It really impacts what you're able to take a loan out on. So with the prices of homes going up and your ability to borrow money going down, it's kind of a worst case scenario for people trying to get into the markets.
A local lender told me that if you want to buy a house and have a loan of $300,000, you need to pay over $250 more for your monthly principal and interest payment now than in January because of the increasing mortgage rates.
However, it might also encourage buyers to get the deal done as soon as possible.
It's encouraging people because prices are going up, rates are going up, so they want to find a house before it continues to increase.
An MU economic professor says it might still be a good time to buy a house if it's within the buyer's budget.
If you think you're going to be here for a few years and it fits within your budget, then yeah, it's better to buy now than it is to buy later in the year. That's probably going to be even worse. If you're looking to invest, then it's not going to be nearly as attractive as it was a year ago.
The realtor and lender suggest ways buyer can be well prepared in advance. Get with your lender, get a pre-approval of your loan, understand what's going on with the market, and make the best, strongest offer that you can on the property. In the studio, Xinyi, KMA News. The supplemental budget bill we just mentioned also including funding for department to raise their minimum wage to $15 an hour if they choose. However, the state is still struggling in terms of workforce development.
There's a new incentive to work for the Missouri Department of Mental Health, a pay raise.
So you get 5.5% increase for everyone. And then if anyone was making less than 15, we had the flexibility to increase them to $15 an hour, which we did.
In February, Governor Mike Parsons signed the fiscal year 2022 supplemental budget bill. The bill totals over $4.6 billion. Mental health received around $27 million, money that could help fill open positions.
So we have had an increase in our numbers of applicants especially for our PRN employees and CMT positions.
However, more money isn't enough.
We're definitely hiring. We're hiring in all locations. We are hiring across all positions.
With about 5,500 employees, the Department of Mental Health still has more than 1,000 available positions to fill.
The data from the Office of Administration shows us there are 6 state executive departments with employee turnover rates more than 30%. Mental health has the second highest turnover rate among all the departments at about 40%. Only the Department of Revenue is higher. The lowest employee turnover rate is with the Department of Conservation at 11%.
Again, the 24/7 nature of our work. And then some of our work is challenging. We are dealing with some folks who are in tough times in their lives, and so that can be difficult as well. And again, that nature of the personal care and the direct care that we provide to people.
Registered nurses and licensed practical nurses at the Fulton State Hospital received a 15% additional increase on May 1st.
All I know is that I got an email that said nurses are getting that increase in pay, and I was like, yes.
Along with pay increases, the state government is working on attracting and retaining workers in many different ways. The office administration told KMU in an email, quote, "The state will celebrate Team Member Appreciation Month in June. We continue to focus on talent acquisition and hiring top talent to work for the state. We are dedicating a significant portion of American Rescue Plan Act dollars to new technology and capital projects. The state is always looking to build a culture that team members want to be a part of," quote.
I think it's going to take a little bit, you can't turn the Titanic in a week, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time for us to see that on a larger scale with our numbers for retaining employees.
Xinyi Lao, that was her report. The 2023 budget contains a handful of items focusing on increasing retention. There is $228 million in it for workforce development. That includes a deferred compensation match and professional development. And that story, of course, coming to us from the capital today.
This is a picture of Ukrainians in a church in Poland. It's 25 kilometers from the border. Columbia pastor Chris Cook took these pictures in Poland. He told me that Poland had a kind of adrenaline rush to help their neighbors.
It was neighbor loving neighbor,
That is what Reverend Chris Cook says he saw in Poland.
Of all the nations on the earth, probably Poland best understands what Ukraine's going through right now. That national memory of that 1939 invasion and World War II that really fuels the Polish to be so generous.
According to the United Nations, more than 3.8 million refugees have left Ukraine, and most of them ended up in Poland.
While I was there, I saw the Ukrainians treated with such great dignity and respect that I stopped referring to them as refugees, and I started referring to them as guests.
After spending about 10 days in Poland, Cook came back to Columbia on March 14th. On Sunday, he shared his experience with his congregation and Park A Baptist.
There, who was a part of the refugees coming across the border.
When you're mostly hearing about the war and all the people that are killed, it's a really great thing to know that there are people that are being kind and taking care of their neighbors.
Church members who heard Cook speak say they now feel more connected to the conflict overseas.
A direct connection between one church in central Missouri, the middle of nowhere in Missouri, reaching out around the world to contact people who have a need to find some place to stay.
Give them the strength to keep on.
Cook's prayer for protection and peace after seeing things firsthand.
I would eat lunch with the Ukrainians. I would see them out in the yard working, cutting down trees, raking leaves. And, it was kind of humbling because I was there to help serve them, and they were serving me.
The Biden administration announced that the United States will welcome up to 100,000 Ukraine refugees. But Cook told me that was just a drop in the bucket compared to the need he saw in Poland. In the studio, Xinyi, KMU News.